Hey, greetings, everyone. Welcome to my new channel, Strictly Bluegrass. For those that are coming over from Glen Calloway from the basement, thank you for supporting me on my new venture. And for those that are new and are bluegrass fans and are not aware of me, I've had a YouTube channel for about 4 years now, mostly discussing rock and classic rock and prog rock and jazz and some bluegrass and stuff too. But um, I just decided that my passion for bluegrass needs its own outlet. So I've decided to start this channel. So I hope you guys get something from it. Um, I would be remiss if I did not mention the passing of the great banjo player Jim Mills, who passed away 2 days ago, I think, from a heart attack at 57 years of age. Jim was a great frickin' player and played with Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder for many years. This is a great live album, live at the Charleston Music Hall. If you're looking for something and you want to hear Jim's playing, he's an amazing player. Scruggs based. He's not into all the jazzy stuff and that. Anyway, if you're interested in watching Jim play, I just noticed I found it last night actually. Earlier this year on January 6th, the Ryman Auditorium hosted Earl Scruggs' 100th birthday celebration, and it's up. Part of it's up for your viewing pleasure on YouTube. I found it under Ryman Party. Search Ryman Party, you'll find it. Jim Jim's in that video, just a few short months before he passes, and his playing is incredible. I also want to mention that Jim was a big uh, dealer in vintage instruments, Gibson Master Tone banjos, pre-war banjos. Now, if you're not familiar, um, the kind of holy grail of banjos is the Gibson Master Tone. Pre-war, I would say the year probably 1938. We're talking where it's the real deal. A lot of these instruments were four string, so necks had to be made to convert them to five string. But the pot assembly and everything, I mean, these are just cherished instruments. Sell for six figures now. I think you're probably looking at. Excuse me, I got a cold. You're probably looking at 100 grand for a 1938 five-string Gibson Master Tone banjo. And Jim was dealing in these. He actually quit touring in bands to run his business, and I understand he started collecting vintage Gibson guitars as well, and also had a great understanding, a great memorabilia collection of Flat and Scruggs stuff, which I would love to see. Anyway, Jim, rest in peace, and thank you for all the great music. Um, I thought I'd start today just by showing you some bluegrass albums. I just pulled I keep them all separate from my record collection, and I just thought I'd throw some out here and see. Uh, First of all, they're in alphabetical order. So Norman Blake, great flat picking guitar player. Rounder Records, of course, anybody who's into bluegrass knows this label. This album's called Whiskey Before Breakfast. Fantastic album. Um, uh, what can I say? Norman Blake, one of the best. The Bluegrass Album Band. Now, there's 3 volumes of this, and I only have two. The first one is just known as 044. It's the catalog number of this album. Unbelievable. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm showing the wrong album. That was J.D. Crowe. This is, let's start over. This is the first Bluegrass Band album. Fantastic record. Stony Plain Records in Canada. It was probably on Rounder in the States. And this is J.D. Crowe, Bobby Hicks, Doyle Lawson, Todd Phillips, and Tony Rice doing just classic bluegrass tunes. Blue Ridge Cabin Home, Molly and Ten Brooks, Toy Heart. I mean, just a fantastic record. Volume 2, same lineup, and again, the same premise. Great, great records. I'll get to that 044 one in a minute. Let's do some Canadian bluegrass here. Big Red Ford was from the Toronto area. A guy named by the name of John Saunders was the banjo player in this band. He was so good, man. He could play. He was like Bela Fleck before Bela Fleck. I mean, he was just a monster. This is 2 years before Bela burst on the scene, and I'm not sure whatever happened to John, but boy, was he a great banjo player. Big Red Ford. There it is, 044. JD Crow and the New South. Rounder Records. The Dillards. Back Porch Bluegrass. Doug Dillard, another great banjo player. This is a great bluegrass album. Another great Canadian bluegrass band, the Dixie Flyers. Dennis LePage was the banjo player in that band. Jerry Douglas, this isn't a bluegrass album, but the Jerry Douglas Band, What If, on colored vinyl. Great, great record. They do a great version of Hey Joe on there. One of my favorite, one of the great bluegrass artists of all time, Del McCoury and the Del McCoury Band, teamed up with Steve Earle to do this album called The Mountain. Fantastic album. It's really hard to find on vinyl, but this is one of my favorites. The Earls of Leicester. This is kind of a tribute to Flat and Scruggs. This is Jerry Douglas's band with Charlie Cushman on banjo. Let's do the Flat and Scruggs records, and then maybe I will stop and we'll do part 2 later while I'm not choking to death. I love these old covers, and look at that, the Foggy Mountain Boys. These are just great records. There's the label Hilltop Records. The Ballad of Jed Clampett, Flat and Scruggs. This is a 2i Columbia. Flat and Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys, Harmony, Columbia. Look at these labels. They're just fantastic. Flat and Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys. I just love these covers. Another Harmony Columbia record, and one of the great live bluegrass albums of all time. Flat and Scruggs at Carnegie Hall. I mean, just a fantastic record. 2i Columbia as well, and then a comp. This is I see this quite often in my travels. The World of Flat and Scruggs, great comp, double album. Not a 2i Columbia record. Anyway, I'm going to stop there and do part 2 maybe tomorrow, and we'll see what else is in the bin here. Thank you all for joining me. Sorry I started it with a cold, but I wanted to get a video up, and thanks again. Appreciate it. Talk soon.